Have you ever imagined hearing something so incredible that your life would never be the same? Today, you are about to discover a secret so profound it could change everything you thought you knew. Imagine for a moment that Jesus Christ, a central figure for billions of people, is not who we think he is. How would this impact your life? This revelation comes from Dolores Cannon, a researcher who has explored mysteries and hidden truths for decades. You might feel a chill down your spine just thinking about it, and that's okay. Fear is normal when facing the unknown, but don't let fear stop you. This video is so impactful it could be removed at any moment, so watch it now before it's too late. Face the fear, question your beliefs, and prepare to discover a truth that could change your journey, because we are here to guide you through surprising and revealing destinations. If you want access to the best videos about your spiritual awakening, join our community by subscribing to this channel. And if you enjoy this enlightening exploration, consider showing your support by clicking the Super Thanks button below. By supporting this channel, you become part of a community that values truth, self-discovery, and spiritual enlightenment. The essence of Jesus transcends the historical figure many know. He is not merely a character from an ancient tale, but a manifestation of the collective consciousness that permeates humanity. This consciousness is the purest expression of love, compassion, and empathy that we all, at some level, can access. The idea that Jesus is a representation of this collective consciousness suggests that we should not see him as a singular being, but as a symbol of the human potential to love and connect with others. When we think of Jesus, we often imagine a man who lived 2,000 years ago, whose teachings were recorded in sacred texts. However, this view can limit the true understanding of what he represents. What Dolores Cannon emphasizes is that Jesus' consciousness is a vibrational frequency that all human beings can tune into. This frequency resonates with unconditional love and divine wisdom, accessible to anyone who wishes to connect with it. In this sense, Jesus is a bridge that allows us to access a higher dimension of our own consciousness. The collective consciousness is a concept that leads us to understand that we are not alone in our spiritual journey. Each of us is part of a larger whole, and the lessons we learn are interconnected. Thus, when someone connects with the essence of Jesus, they are not only connecting to an individual, but to a network of love and compassion that extends through time and space. This collective consciousness is a powerful force that unites us, regardless of our cultural or religious differences. Reflecting on the spiritual nature of being, we realize that Jesus' message goes beyond the limitations of the physical form. He invites us to look within ourselves and recognize that we are all spiritual beings on a journey of self-discovery. Each of us carries within a divine spark, a direct connection to the Creator and the entirety of the cosmos. This message is especially relevant in a world where distractions and superficialities can obscure our true essence. Jesus teaches us that we are more than our physical bodies, we are evolving souls. This idea that we are in constant spiritual growth is fundamental to understanding what it means to be human. Spirituality is not about dogmas or rigid beliefs, but about a personal and intimate relationship with the divine. By recognizing our spiritual nature, we embark on a transformative journey that allows us to become the best version of ourselves. Therefore, Jesus' teachings are valuable guides for spiritual awakening. He invites us to love one another, to forgive, and to serve. These lessons are timeless and can be applied in our daily lives. Every act of kindness, every word of encouragement, and every gesture of compassion are expressions of this collective consciousness that Jesus represents. When we strive to live according to these principles, we contribute to the evolution of the soul, not only ours, but of all humanity. Furthermore, the figure of Jesus has been shaped over the centuries, and this shaping may have distorted his true spiritual message. Often, the image we have of him is influenced by cultural, political, and religious traditions that can obscure his true meaning. For many, Jesus is seen as a distant, almost unattainable figure. However, it is vital to demystify this image and recognize that the essence of Jesus is accessible to all, regardless of origin or belief. When we demystify the image of Jesus, we begin to see that he is an example of how to live in harmony with our true nature. He showed us that true spirituality is not found in rituals or dogmas, but in living love and compassion in our daily interactions. This understanding frees us from the limitations often imposed by institutions and allows us to access the spiritual freedom that has always been available to us. The idea that we all have an inner Christ is a powerful reflection on reincarnation and spiritual growth. Every life we live is an opportunity for learning and evolution. When we recognize that we have this divine essence within us, we are encouraged to explore our maximum potential. Reincarnation in this context is not just a cycle of lives, but a continuous learning process where each experience teaches us something valuable about ourselves and life. This vision that we all have an inner Christ connects us to a deeper understanding of the unity of all things. The true essence of Jesus teaches us that we are not separated from each other, but interconnected in a vast web of existence. This challenges the separation we often see between religions and cultures, promoting a global awareness of love and compassion that can heal the divisions that separate us. The path to unity begins when we recognize that love is the most powerful force in the universe. It is this love that drives us to seek connection, understanding, and empathy. Ultimately, Jesus' message is one of hope and unity. He invites us to see beyond appearances and recognize the divinity that resides in all of us. As we move on to the next theme, the spiritual nature of being, we are reminded that the journey of self-discovery and evolution is not just a personal quest, but a collective mission. We are all in this journey together, and the lessons we learn along the way are a vital part of our shared experience. True spirituality calls us to explore the depth of our existence and embrace the light that shines within us. This light is not just ours, but an expression of the divine light that permeates the entire universe, uniting us in a greater purpose. Dolores Cannon warns us about the importance of preparing ourselves through powerful prayers to achieve protection and salvation for our lives. So, download my digital book, The Truth Behind Dolores Cannon's Prophecies, now. This material covers a variety of insights for all occasions in life. Don't waste time. Click the link available in the first comment posted and download it immediately. The units are limited, so it is crucial to act now to ensure access to the truth behind Dolores Cannon's prophecies before the units run out. The idea that Jesus Christ is not a person, but a representation of the collective consciousness of love and compassion opens a new horizon of spiritual understanding. When we delve into this perspective, we realize that the figure of Jesus transcends history and culture, becoming a universal symbol that resonates with the essence of the human being. This collective consciousness is an invitation to all of us, a call to access our own divine nature. The collective consciousness of Jesus is, in its essence, the manifestation of unconditional love that permeates all things. It is not just about a man who lived more than 2,000 years ago, but about an energetic vibration that connects all human beings. This vibration is accessible to anyone who seeks to connect with their own spiritual essence. Jesus, then, becomes an archetype, a model that inspires us to live in compassion, empathy, and love. This understanding helps us see that each of us is capable of manifesting this consciousness in our lives, regardless of the beliefs or religious traditions we follow. The spiritual nature of the human being is one of the keys to understanding this message. When we talk about spirituality, we are not referring to rituals or dogmas, but to an inner journey of self-discovery. Jesus taught us that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. This idea invites us to look beyond physical limitations and realize that our true essence is eternal and divine. Each of us carries within the divine spark, and this spark is what connects us to Jesus and the collective consciousness he represents. Therefore, Jesus' teachings are guides for this journey of spiritual awakening. His lessons about love, forgiveness, and compassion offer us a path to the evolution of the soul. By applying these teachings in our daily lives, we begin to perceive subtle but profound changes in our way of seeing the world and ourselves. Forgiveness, for example, is not just an act of releasing the other, but an essential step towards the liberation of our own emotional chains. When we allow ourselves to forgive, we access a deep part of our spirituality and thus approach our true nature. Demystifying the image of Jesus is an important step in this journey. Over the centuries, the figure of Jesus has been shaped and reinterpreted by different cultures and traditions. Often, this image has become associated with dogmas and norms that can distort his true message. By opening ourselves to the idea that Jesus is more than a historical figure, we can rediscover his teachings in a broader context. This new perspective not only frees us from the limitations imposed by rigid interpretations, but also invites us to explore spirituality more genuinely and authentically. The connection between reincarnation and the inner Christ is a fascinating aspect of this exploration. The notion that we all possess an inner Christ suggests that Jesus' essence is not restricted to a single individual, but is a quality inherent in all of us. Each life we live, each lesson we learn, brings us closer to this consciousness. Reincarnation, therefore, becomes a means by which we can experience different aspects of being, allowing continuous growth. This idea of multiple lives helps us understand that each experience, whether challenging or rewarding, is an opportunity to connect more deeply with our own divinity. Ultimately, all these teachings lead us to understand the unity of all things. Jesus' true essence is not limited to one group or religion, but extends to all humanity. This notion of interconnection challenges us to see beyond the divisions we often create between ourselves and others. When we recognize that we are all part of the same fabric of life, we begin to cultivate a global awareness of love and compassion. This transformation is essential for spiritual awakening as it invites us to act in harmony with others and the planet. As we explore the continuity of this spiritual journey, it is important to reflect on the role of Jesus' teachings in spiritual ascension. The teachings he shared are not just messages from the past, but timeless guides that help us navigate our own evolution. How can we apply these principles in our daily lives? How can we become agents of transformation and love in a world that often seems divided and confused? These questions lead us to a new dimension of spirituality, one where the practice of love and compassion becomes a central aspect of our existence. Spiritual ascension is not just a distant ideal, but a reality we can manifest within and around us. Jesus, as a collective consciousness, inspires us to seek this elevation, to transcend the limitations of the ego, and to connect with the essence of love that resides in all of us. Therefore, as we reflect on the spiritual journey in light of Jesus' teachings, we are invited to open our hearts and minds to a new understanding of what it means to be human. Spirituality is not something separate from daily life, but an intrinsic part of it. Every interaction, every thought, and every action has the potential to reflect this higher consciousness. It is in this space of connection and love that we find true spirituality, which unites and guides us in our shared journey. And so, as we delve deeper into the essence of Jesus' teachings, we prepare to explore the next step of this journey: reincarnation and the inner Christ. What does it really mean to have an inner Christ, and how does this relate to our past and future lives? These questions will lead us to an even deeper understanding of spirituality and soul evolution. Jesus' message, often reduced to a historical figure, goes far beyond his physical presence. He is not just a character from the past, but a vivid representation of the collective consciousness that permeates humanity. This consciousness, rooted in love, compassion, and empathy, is accessible to all of us, regardless of the culture or religion we follow. When we speak of the collective consciousness of Jesus, we are referring to an elevated state of being that we can all aspire to achieve. This consciousness is a call to all of us, a reminder that the divine essence is present in each one, ready to be awakened. Jesus' teachings offer us a path to this spiritual elevation. He did not come merely to be worshipped or revered as a distant entity, but to show us that true divinity resides within us. Through his life and actions, he embodied principles that encourage us to look within and recognize our own spiritual nature. Each of us has the capacity to manifest unconditional love, compassion, and peace. By understanding this, we begin to see Jesus not as an isolated being, but as a reflection of what we can become. The spiritual nature of being, as Jesus taught us, is fundamental to our journey of self-discovery and evolution. He reminded us that we are more than physical bodies. We are souls in constant learning and growth. This idea is central to the understanding that we are all interconnected, part of a greater whole. By dedicating ourselves to understanding and applying Jesus' teachings in our daily lives, we begin to walk a path of spiritual ascension. Each lesson is an opportunity for growth, a chance to get closer to our true essence. Therefore, Jesus' teachings are essential guides for spiritual awakening. He taught us about forgiveness, humility, generosity, and love. Each of these lessons can be applied in our daily lives, helping us to overcome the limitations of the ego and open our hearts to true connection with others. When we practice forgiveness, for example, we not only release others from their actions, but also free ourselves from emotional burdens that prevent us from moving forward. Humility teaches us to recognize that we are all equal, regardless of our differences, and generosity invites us to share what we have, creating a cycle of love and mutual support. By applying these principles in our lives, we begin to notice an internal transformation. Spiritual awakening is not a single event, but a continuous journey of growth and evolution. As we delve deeper into Jesus' teachings, we become more aware of our actions and their repercussions. This awareness expands our perspective, allowing us to see beyond duality and the divisions that often separate us. Instead of limiting ourselves to labels and definitions, we begin to perceive the unity that permeates all life. However, to fully understand the depth of these teachings, it is necessary to demystify the image of Jesus that has been built over history. Often, this image is permeated by interpretations that limit his true spiritual essence. The figure of Jesus has become an icon of separation rather than a symbol of unity. The divisions between religions and beliefs have obscured the central message of love and compassion he brought. Therefore, by freeing ourselves from these bonds, we can rediscover the freedom that comes from realizing that we all carry within us the divine spark. In this sense, the idea of an inner Christ becomes even more relevant. Reincarnation, as a spiritual concept, offers a fascinating perspective on our learning and growth. If we all have an inner Christ, then the journey of the soul becomes a continuous cycle of experiences, where life is a series of lessons that prepare us for a deeper understanding of who we really are. Each life brings unique opportunities to learn and evolve, not only in relation to ourselves, but to the connection we have with others. As we move forward on this journey, it is crucial to recognize that the unity of all things is the essence of what Jesus truly represents. He invites us to look beyond appearances, to perceive that all lives are interconnected in a great cosmic fabric of love. The divisions we see in the world are human constructions, while true spiritual reality is one of interconnection and unity. By adopting this vision, we can begin to dissolve the barriers that separate us from each other and thus promote a global consciousness of love and compassion. Reflecting on all these aspects, we are led to consider the importance of cultivating our own inner Christ. This journey of awakening is not just a personal quest, but a collective call for humanity. As we deepen our understanding of who we are and what Jesus represents, we begin to realize that true transformation happens within us. Each of us has the power to manifest the light and love inherent in our divine nature. And so, as we approach the next theme, Reincarnation and the Inner Christ, we are invited to explore more deeply this intimate connection between our past lives and our spiritual growth. The idea that we are all in a continuous cycle of learning leads us to ask, how can we apply the lessons learned in our past lives to enrich our current experience? How can we honor the presence of the inner Christ within us while moving toward the realization of our true potential? This journey of self-discovery is not just an individual quest, but an essential contribution to the collective awakening of humanity. The understanding of the inner Christ is a deep and transformative journey that transcends the boundaries of time and space, connecting all of us to a divine essence that resides in our being. The idea that every person possesses an inner Christ is an invitation to recognize that the lessons and teachings that Jesus brought to humanity are not just for a select group of individuals, but for all of us. This perspective leads us to reflect on reincarnation and how life experiences shape our spiritual understanding. Reincarnation, a concept embraced by many spiritual traditions, suggests that our soul goes through a cycle of learning and growth over multiple lifetimes. Each incarnation provides us with the opportunity to experience different lessons, challenges, and relationships, allowing us to expand our consciousness and integrate the experiences that shape our spiritual journey. In this context, the inner Christ is the divine spark that inhabits each of us, waiting to be recognized and expressed. Jesus' message, in its purest essence, is a reflection of this inner Christ. He did not limit himself to being a historical or religious figure, but became a symbol of love, compassion, and unity. By stating that we all have this divine essence, Jesus invites us to explore our own capabilities to love unconditionally, forgive, and live in harmony with others. This approach frees us from the idea that we need to seek salvation or enlightenment outside ourselves, suggesting that true transformation happens when we turn inward and recognize the power that resides within our being. Reincarnation is a powerful tool to understand the development of the inner Christ. Each life we live offers unique growth opportunities. We can incarnate as different genders, ethnicities, and in varied social contexts, each contributing to our spiritual learning. Through these experiences, we are challenged to confront our beliefs, fears, and limitations, allowing the light of our inner Christ to shine more intensely. For example, in a past life, we might have been challenged to deal with injustice or oppression, developing a deep sense of empathy and compassion. In another, we might have faced loneliness or betrayal, learning about forgiveness and acceptance. Each of these experiences is an essential part of our spiritual path, and by recognizing them, we begin to understand the complexity and beauty of our growth as spiritual beings. Moreover, reincarnation teaches us that we are not alone on our journey. Our relationships, whether family, friends, or even people we meet occasionally, have a divine purpose. Often, these connections result from past experiences where souls come together to learn and grow together. This perspective helps us see human interactions as sacred opportunities for learning and spiritual evolution. The inner Christ also calls us to transcend the divisions that often separate religions and spiritual traditions. When we recognize that we all share this divine essence, we begin to see unity amid diversity. The lessons Jesus brought are universal and applicable to all human beings, regardless of their religious or cultural origin. This understanding promotes a global sense of community and encourages us to work together for peace, justice, and love. As we advance on our spiritual awakening journey, it is crucial to remember that reincarnation is not a punishment, but a gift. Each life is an opportunity to learn more about ourselves and the nature of the universe. The inner Christ guides us in this process, helping us remember that we are all part of a greater whole. This connection allows us to see beyond appearances and divisions, recognizing the divine spark in everyone around us. Understanding reincarnation and the inner Christ leads us to a deeper reflection on the unity of all things. Just as Jesus taught us to love and accept one another, the true essence of his message connects us to a broader understanding of the interconnection of all life. When we begin to see life through this lens of unity, we are challenged to expand our consciousness and cultivate an attitude of love and compassion toward all beings. This discovery journey is not only personal, but collective. As more people awaken to the truth of the inner Christ and reincarnation, we can expect a significant shift in global consciousness. The separation and division that often characterize human interactions will begin to dissipate as more individuals recognize their own divinity and the divinity of others. This spiritual awakening can be the catalyst for a new era of peace, love, and understanding among all people. Dolores Cannon warns us about the importance of preparing ourselves through powerful prayers to achieve protection and salvation for our lives. So, download my digital book, The Truth Behind Dolores Cannon's Prophecies, now. This material covers a variety of insights for all occasions in life. Don't waste time. Click the link available in the first comment posted and download it immediately. The units are limited, so it is crucial to act now to ensure access to the truth behind Dolores Cannon's prophecies before the units run out. In conclusion, the inner Christ and reincarnation are interconnected concepts that offer us a new way of understanding our spiritual journey. They remind us that we are all part of a divine tapestry, each with a unique role to play in the evolution of consciousness. As we continue to explore these themes, we are invited to reflect on how we can integrate these lessons into our daily lives, promoting greater harmony and unity in our world. And so, as we venture on this spiritual journey, we are led to consider the unity of all things. As Jesus' message invites us to transcend divisions and see the interconnection of all life, we can ask ourselves, how can we apply this understanding in our daily lives? How can we cultivate this unity in our interactions, promoting a world where love and compassion are the dominant forces? The awakening to unity is a call to all of us, an invitation to see beyond differences and embrace the divinity that resides in each being. The idea that Jesus Christ is not just a historical figure, but a representation of the collective consciousness of love and compassion leads us to a deep reflection on the true essence of his teaching and the impact it can have on our lives. When we think of Jesus, we often visualize him as a person, a being who lived at a specific time and place. However, by expanding our understanding of his nature, we begin to realize that he is actually a symbol, a manifestation of the universal consciousness that inhabits each of us. The collective consciousness of Jesus is an energy that transcends individuality and time. It is a vibrational frequency of unconditional love that is available to all human beings. By cultivating this consciousness in our lives, we can connect to a deeper sense of empathy and compassion, not only towards others, but also towards ourselves. This connection promotes spiritual awakening, allowing us to access wisdom that goes beyond religious dogmas and traditions. Jesus' message teaches us that we are all spiritual beings on a journey of self-discovery and evolution. He did not come to tell us that we should cling to rituals or rigid rules, but to remind us of our true nature, which is to be expressions of the divine. The spiritual nature of being invites us to look within ourselves, to discover the truths that reside within us. By doing so, we begin to realize that life is not just a series of random events, but a continuous opportunity for growth and learning. Jesus' teachings serve as guides for our spiritual awakening. By analyzing his lessons, we realize that they are timeless and can be applied in our daily lives. The practice of forgiveness, for example, is one of the pillars of his message. When we forgive, we not only free others, but also free ourselves from the burden of resentment. This act of love is a powerful tool for our spiritual evolution and helps us ascend to higher frequencies of consciousness. Furthermore, the figure of Jesus has been shaped over the centuries, and often his image has been distorted by interpretations that do not capture his true spiritual essence. The polarization between religions, the competition for followers, and the creation of divisions have distorted the message of unity he brought. It is important to demystify this image of Jesus and return to his essence. He is not the savior of a specific group, but a guide who invites us all to explore the depth of our spirituality and recognize the divinity that inhabits each of us. The idea that everyone has an inner Christ leads us to a reflection on reincarnation and spiritual learning. Reincarnation offers us the opportunity to experience multiple lessons throughout our lives. Each life is a chance to explore different aspects of our soul and deepen our understanding of love, compassion, and connection. The inner Christ is the manifestation of this wisdom that guides us on our journey, reminding us that we are all part of a greater whole. By looking at the unity of all things, we begin to understand that Jesus' true essence connects us to a broader understanding of the interconnection of all life. This unity challenges the separation between religions and promotes a global consciousness of love. When we allow ourselves to see beyond differences and divisions, we begin to realize that we are all seeking the same truth, the truth of unconditional love. Integrating these teachings into our daily lives can be transformative. By adopting a perspective of unity and love, we begin to change not only ourselves, but also the social and spiritual structures around us. Compassion becomes a way of life, and forgiveness becomes a daily practice. Every act of kindness we perform becomes an expression of the collective consciousness that Jesus represents. It is crucial to recognize that spiritual awakening is not an isolated event, but a continuous process. As we deepen our connection with Jesus' consciousness, we begin to realize that spirituality is a lifelong journey. It is not about reaching a final destination, but about exploring the nuances of existence and becoming more authentic versions of ourselves. The messages of love and compassion that Jesus brought do not belong to a single religious group, but are universal. They resonate in every heart that seeks to understand its own spirituality. By sharing these messages, we help create a network of light that connects beings of all origins and beliefs. This network is what allows us to experience the beauty of unity in a world that often seems divided. Each of us has the capacity to be a messenger of this collective consciousness. By living authentically and aligned with the principles of love and compassion, we become beacons of light for those around us. Change begins within us, and by radiating this energy, we positively influence the world around us. In this way, Jesus' true message becomes a living reality in our lives. In summary, Jesus Christ is not just a historical figure, but an expression of the collective consciousness of love and compassion that resides in all of us. By recognizing this, we open the doors to a journey of self-discovery and spiritual evolution that transcends the limitations of time and space. The invitation is clear. Connect with your inner Christ, recognize the unity of all things, and let this consciousness transform your life and the world around you. Spiritual awakening is a call to all of us, and Jesus' message is an eternal guide on this journey.